Hi, this is Stephanie Purvis, and I'm going to show you how to make this little mani Pedi box that has a place for nail polish, a fingernail file, toe separators, and nail polish remover pads. And I bought all of this stuff in this box from either Walmart or the dollar store, and you can find this stuff at a drugstore and even online. So I thought this would make a cute little gift. So to get started, you're going to want a piece of cardstock, and I'm using basic black from Stampin' Up. And this measures 8 by 11. And with the 8 side towards the top of your scoring tool, you're going to want to score at 1.5 and at 6.5. Then you'll rotate this 90 degrees so that the 11-inch side is at the top, and you'll score at 1, 2.5, 6.5, and 8. You're also going to want a piece of matching cardstock. This is for the little separator that is inside the box. This measures 5 inches by 1.5. And with the 5-inch side towards the top of your scoring tool, you'll want to score at 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. And then we'll just set this aside for now. And then we're done scoring. Next, you'll want to fold all your score lines, and you might use a bone folder. Okay, and on the sides, you will want to cut all of these score lines just up to the intersecting score line. Like this. Now you've got several tabs. These 4 square tabs, we're going to cut approximately in half and then also notch the edges a little bit just so it's easier to put the box together. So I'm going to cut these in half. And then what I mean by notching is just cut a little sliver off of each side. Alright, next you're ready for your adhesive. So I recommend using something like score tape that is really strong. And you're going to want to put adhesive on these bottom 2 flaps that we did not trim down, and on both of, or I guess all 4 of the tabs that we did trim down. just like this. Now before we put the box together, we're going to want to create these little angled sides. I actually kind of stepped ahead of myself. So what you'll need to do that is you will want to have this tiny flap, the small flap, towards the bottom of your work surface. And these two flaps are what we're going to use to create the angles. So you'll take a ruler and you'll measure it up 1 inch. And you'll mark 1 inch. And then you're going to draw a line from that 1 inch mark up to this corner. And you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Then you will just cut along that diagonal line. You could eyeball this. I did eyeball it the first time I made this box, but it just comes out a lot better if you draw a guideline for yourself. All right, now we can start putting the box together. So I'm going to start with the bottom. And I'm going to just start with one side at a time. And the way that this will look, it doesn't really matter how you put it together, but the way I found that it looks the neatest, the cleanest, is if you tuck this flap in first and put your angled flap down on there, and then bring this in. And then it looks a little bit cleaner on the inside than if you did it the opposite way. And do the same thing on this side. And then the top is easy. You just match these two edges and these two edges. Okay. And then that is the main shape of your box. So the divider, I'm going to bring this back in, and you just want to fold it kind of a mountain shape so that it's like this. And you're going to put on the underneath side, you're just going to put adhesive all along here. Fold it up. So now you have this kind of a shape, and there's adhesive on the bottom here. And we're going to put this divider in the box. Now you can put this wherever you want, however you decide to arrange your contents, but I put this towards the left side. So I just butted that up against the left side, and there is my divider. So now I can put nail polish, my fingernail file, toe separators, and nail polish remover pads in there. And that's the box. And so you can decorate this however you want, but I will show you how I decorated this. I used a piece of designer series paper, just pattern paper, and this measures 8 inches by 2 inches, and I did score this at 1.5 and 6.5. Now, if you're going to decorate your box like mine, you might consider decorating it before you put it together because it's a little bit easier, but you can still get by this way. All right, so I used a piece of ribbon and I am not going to stick this down yet. I'm just going to place it because my trick on tying this little knot is to not do it on that strip. I'm going to cut another piece of ribbon and kind of decide where I'm going to want it, keeping those score lines in mind. And now I'm going to tie this. This is just a trick. Trust me, it makes it a lot easier and makes things line up a lot better. So there's that just kind of placed. To trim off the edges. And now I'm going to just put a little adhesive on the back of the ribbon on the edges. You don't want to pull this too tight, or you'll run into trouble when you try to adhere it to the box. All right. Next, I added an accent piece of ribbon, just tied over this, just in a knot, just a single knot. Next, I'm using this stamp set called Love Sparkles from Stampin' Up. I'm going to start making a background pattern with these little stars. And I've got a circle cut out. And the color that I'm going to use, I'm going to start with Mint Macaron, which is a Stampin' Up color. And I'm just going to randomly stamp these stars. Then I'm going to use a color called Watermelon Wonder from Stampin' Up, and I'm going to use the little sparkle phrase. I'm going to try to do this. So now when you are doing this at home, it will be better if you start out with a bigger piece of cardstock and stamp on it before you cut out the circle. But to save time, I just did it ahead of time. So see. Not bad. Now I'm going to use a black ink for the It's Your Day wording. All right. Since this says sparkle, I thought we needed some actual sparkle on it. So I'm going to just use some rhinestones and put these on kind of randomly on these little sparkle designs. I'm going to mat that on a scalloped circle, and I'm just going to use regular adhesive. And this color that I'm using is Mint Macaron from Stampin' Up. I forgot one step. Underneath this ribbon, I have a piece of some glimmer paper, glittery paper, This measures 1 by 5. And you would want to do this before you put your ribbon on, but it's no big deal if you miss it. And this is just going to fit in between those 2 score lines that we created. Like that. It's just a little extra sparkle. And then I'm actually going to put this on my box first, so I've just used adhesive like this. I'm going to use lots of adhesive and kind of fold those score lines a little bit. And this is why it's easier to do this before you put your box together, and I'm actually going to take this stuff out. This is a little bit cumbersome, but you will want to line up the bottom, the score line, just like that. And then now I'm going to use some dimensionals, just so you can just foam dots. These are just to give it some dimension. Just like that. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see how yours turn out, so please make it and post it and let me know.